So would you say a lot of girls hate you because they feel like you can sleep with their man?
Yeah, I mean, I probably have slept with that man.
That is mad, bruv. Would you do it just for the fuckery that if a girl didn't like you, would you sleep with a man just to fuck with her?
Yeah.
Big man ting.
He's flirting with me.
Hell no.
I'd love to get really under his skin and piss her off. The women are just haters. Jealous, they're not me.
This ting hates women, bruv.
And then I'd send a boyfriend back, and I want him to shower. I'm like, I want you going back smelling of me. I want your girlfriend to taste me.
Tapped, bruv. You want to mentally traumatize them.
Oh yeah, happily.
It's giving mental health, bruv.
This is a good date. The one thing I do love doing recently is when I get hate from women. A lot of it I dismiss. Sometimes when they've got a profile picture of their husband or their son, I think, I want to fuck your son and husband. You are now on my hit
What if their
list.
son's like 10 though?
Well, obviously I'll wait till they're 18.
Noncy behaviour.
18's legal. I don't know what his problem is.
She's a nonce, bruv. So how many 18-year-olds have you slept with?
Oh my gosh. I'd probably say half of my count is from 18-year-olds.
Do you prefer that?
Them. It depends. I love taking their virginities. I love taking people's virginity. It's my thing.
That is weird, bruv.
How old is this woman?
I can look it up, but what do y'all think about what thoughts?
Wait, she's being for real though. She was being dead ass serious.
Clearly, yeah, she's definitely a porn star, whatever you want to call it. Gosh, Bonnie.
That's fucking crazy.
That was don't forget it out. That was
look,
promoting.
Yeah. That was awesome. Just that whole clip, the way it was edited, everything was fantastic. She's great. It's just very funny. I honor the fact that she's kind of standing up for herself in one vein, right? You know, a porn star.
26. Really?
She's only 26?
Yeah, I thought she was like 30.
Okay, yeah.
26 is
Alright,
crazy.
okay. I thought so too.
26
Wow,
is
that's even
crazy.
crazier than wow.
26 is nuts.
Okay, that
She's
really
pulling
helps-
$150 a year,
that
bodies.
really helps the 18-year-old thing because I was like, oh, she's in her 30s.
Yeah.
And she has a lift and her skin's good because of obvious reasons.
I thought the same thing.
And 26 for the 18-year-olds, okay, that's different. Taking people's virginities and having your own kink for that, I don't like to judge, but I'm judging a little bit. It's a little bit of...
Oh, yeah. That's fucking crazy. I don't understand. I don't know. To me, it's what, especially if someone didn't do something to you, what does that say about you that you, desire to be the villain? That's, we talking about you projecting before. I'm like, that says something about you because when she said the comment about, oh, if a woman hates on me, and then I see she has a son or a husband, I want to fuck them. Why?
I feel like that's her quote unquote her weapon. Mm-hmm. So that's her go-to. It does kind of make sense in a weird way, especially if that's her profession. It's not just her profession; it can be used as a weapon, used as a whatever the opposite of a weapon is, something that men like love or whatever.
Could you imagine finding out that your boyfriend cheated on you, but it was with somebody who's going to take the standard of the bedroom and just raise it up?
That's just so crazy to me. I mean, hey, get it how you live it, but
right.
God damn.
So, that would be an example of a karmic cycle in which you're sort of can't get out of being the villain and then fulfilling it and then creating a defensive strategy out of it.
Yeah, something definitely happened to that chick.
She's British. That doesn't really have anything to do with anything but it being a true fact. Secondly,
she's kind of she's colonizing. What is the word?
Colonizing.
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 I'm confused how to say it.
People's virginity. I don't know.
No, well,
that's crazy.
That's the point.
Yeah.
But so does that? This is. I mean, you made a good point or provoked the question. Does her being like that for sure mean that something happened to her when at some point in her life?
I definitely think so, yeah.
Fact.
I think so 100% because the thing is she's not I don't think there's anything wrong if you want to sleep with a lot of people for pleasure.
Right.
But it's very clear that the pleasure is not in sleeping with a lot of people, it's in the result of how people react to her sleeping with people. So that's where I'm something happened. That actually is crazy to me. If you're just somebody who likes to get fucked a lot, do you. But if you're if you are more craving the reaction of people, her fucking people is not actually the problem. That's the vehicle of the problem.
That was the whole thing. The only reason she has sex, she has sex for her pleasure. But if someone fucks her over, she's gonna fuck them over literally.
Yeah, but she wasn't talking about getting fucked over. She was just talking about if somebody hates on me.
Right. Well, that's what I mean.
So like if somebody's like, look, I don't know me, if somebody says I don't like what you're doing, I'm like, oh, you don't need to like it. I'm doing what I'm doing regardless. But the fact that she feels so compelled to respond in such a fucking drastic, it's not just being like getting online and be like, fuck you, I'm gonna fuck whoever I want. It's being like, I'm gonna fuck your husband and your son. That's crazy.
See, now, Devin, the interesting thing about that is the reverse is there are guys that will say, like, if a guy says, might not say it the way that she said it, but when guys talk shit to certain guys or comment or whatever it could be, is like, oh, there's a thought that, like, oh, I can take his girl. Like,
yes, and that's a very egotistical thing.
But the same thing.
But I feel the same way because why do you feel like you need that level of like attention or arrogance? If you feel comfortable with yourself, then even if you know that, it's the putting it out there
Right.
and being like having to prove it. Because if you really believe that, then the belief should be all you need. If she really believes she could take any of their man, that should be enough. But the fact she's gonna be like, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna let you know, I'm gonna let the world know. That's where I'm like, what happened?
Happened to those guys, the guys that feel that way?
Yeah, but and something happened doesn't mean like it doesn't have to mean somebody was sexually assaulted.
Right.
It could just mean you were like neglected as a fucking child, or you didn't get the attention you deserved, or you got mommy issues or daddy issues. It could be a lot of different things.
That's a missing piece because with this type of situation and with that type of situation, like a guy normally won't broadcast the way that she does, but she does. I think the thing that might have happened to her per se is that she got the limelight and the spotlight.
That could be
from her antics and whatnot. Like,
well, that's the thing. It's
she's up with 1,000 guys. Ain't nobody know Bonnie Blue.
It's encouraging her to do it more because even negative publicity is publicity for her. So it doesn't. So it's only like making her do that more.
And that's also like
Us right now talking about it is contributing to that.
That's what I was about to say. Like negative, her version of negative publicity is like that's your opinion because to her, it's not negative at all. Like she's getting bodies, she's having a good time, and she's like her stock is going up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do say that no press is bad press.
Yeah.
Or all press is good press.
Yeah. So for her, and especially if she's like an online creator and she monetizes the internet, then doing all that, like, and that's the thing. That's what's so interesting about like people who make money online because who knows how much she actually even believes the shit's coming out of her mouth. She doesn't even necessarily have to believe it. If it's getting people to engage because they either strongly agree or strongly disagree because the shit that she says is polarizing, then she wins right there. So for all we know, she may have never fucked somebody's man ever. But if she says that she would do that,
I think she might have.
I mean, she probably did. But I'm just saying, for all we know, she could be saying that because
The probability is higher than average.
or she could be exaggerating how much she's done it or how willing she is to do it.
Right. No, that's a fact. Because like, if I would, I don't put nothing past her because honestly, I don't think she's an actress, and if she is, she's a hell of an actress.
She's a kind of actress.
If she, Eli's good. But
She's a bedroom actress.
If I would find it hard to believe that half of her bodies, like she said, are from 18-year-olds, because that would be ridiculous. But who knows?
Yeah, it does feel like, and especially that edit, it's sort of like she's a little bit becoming the person that is talking to her. She's taking that on, being like, "What would you do if you were in this position?" You'd be like, "I'd take a defensive strategy. I would make sure nobody came at me like that again." But it's like, there's a paradox there. It's like, I don't want to don't come for me or else I'll sleep with your man. But this is something you want to be doing anyways.
Yeah.
So she's just perpetuating a cycle for herself.
Is it a good or bad cycle?
I guess.
For her, it sounds like it's a good cycle. She seems to be fucking enjoying it.
This is a good cycle for her. You want to be on the right side of that cycle.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad cycle for her haters.
Yeah.
What's funny as hell is I don't know. Did you hear the girl named Lily Phillips?
I feel like I've heard that.
She was the girl who slept with 100 men in one day.
Good for her.
Oh, she blew past that
And
shit.
she bodied her like the next week or something like that same month type shit. Like so now Bonnie Blue's like everywhere and no one even talks about Lily Phillips anymore.
Can you I wonder if we can see her chart, Bonnie's chart, if she has a middle chart. Because there's probably some things I can mention, but we don't have to do that.
I can tell you her birthday, May 14th, 1999.
Okay, she's a Taurus. So she just likes pleasure.
Hey.
A Taurus. They're just doing it
Right
because,
there.
Get it how you live it.
I have an ex who's a porn star, and she doesn't come from. She
Nice.
has her traumas.
See how he just brushes?
Yeah, that's actually a fucking insane thing to just
That's
very
what you should've said.
casually
We should've had a whole
insert into conversation.
segment about that.
You're like, I have an ex who's a porn star. I'm like, wait, hold the fuck up. That's crazy.
She's famous now, like, and I just hear her
Wait,
like,
do we know her?
her name's Savannah.
Is that her like porn name?
It's her porn name is Savvy, 2 V's, and then something after that. Look it up. She's doing really well for herself now.
Okay.
Sure, she has traumas like everybody else, but it's not like.
Word.
And that's the second time I've done that for this podcast episode. There is just like a type of person.
Tauruses?
She's not a Taurus, but you know.
Oh, I thought you brought her up because she was a Taurus. Oh, you brought her up because she was a porn star?
Yeah.
I swear.
He said, yeah.
I swear because she was a Taurus. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's like, she's not.
Yeah,
She's
that's
a
so
Vedic
funny.
Taurus. No,
Yeah.
she's not. She is. She's probably a Vedic Taurus.
Yeah, this is very Family Guy like humor. I swear to God.
For a second, I thought you were gonna be like, "This is very family like oriented," which I know it's not. But for a second, I was like, "Hold up," because we've been saying some crazy shit.
Yeah, thankfully it's not. That's good stuff. Anything else on Bonnie Blue?
Listen, hey, if you're a woman who likes to have a lot of sex, good for you. Do you?
Yo, that's one thing last thing I want to say on that. Can you imagine if a guy said that as far as half his bodies are from 18-year-olds and he loves to take virginities?
Yeah, see, it's so interesting because on one side of it, I think he would get way more of a pass for sleeping with that many women. But on the other side, we would be more critical on him for the 18-year-old piece of it, for
I think
sure.
he would, yeah, exactly.
Like a man can generally get away with sleeping with a lot of women, way more than a woman can with
Right.
men. But
Until you specify.
a man is definitely, I think at least, going to get crucified more for talking to young women than a woman would for talking to young men.
Hell yeah.
And a big part of that is because historically, at least consciously in our society, there is the context that men have gone after young women. Like that's a thing that we're preconceived to recognize and pay attention to. And sure, there are the times in which women were going after young men, but for the longest time, women had very little autonomy in that decision one way or another. So we're just kind of preconditioned to think that way. And it's fair to have that sort of, if you're going after people who are on the cusp of legality, that's a red flag, but it's still just a flag. You kind of have to, at some point, just be like, all right, nobody did anything illegal, but I got my eye on you.
Yeah.
You know?
I got my eye on
Yeah. And if it's a man, you're definitely going to look at it with more potential violence because I don't know what the statistics are, but it's at least what we're conditioned to think.
Yeah.
As like, you know, you don't look at Bonnie Blue and you're like, that's a threat. You know?
Well, I think that's also because we believe that in society, men are expected to be able to protect themselves. Like there are a lot of people who don't even think that a woman can rape a man, which is crazy because that absolutely is a thing, and that's part. You know, that's also part of the notion of all of it. But that's a whole. Oh, that's something we can get so far into.
I was about to say that's because like when you said it sounded like what Eli just said like Bonnie Blue's not a threat. Like that's a double standard.
Right,
Yes.
but if she's sleeping with people who are 18 or probably at some point were also under 18, if you're totally comfortable with sleeping with people who are turning 18, I would venture to guess she's probably slept with somebody who's under 18 before, and that makes her a predator. Like that's just like it would if it was a man. But like you said, because she's not perceived as much of a threat as it would be a 26-year-old man to an 18-year-old woman,
We're not going to think about that.
we're not exactly.
Now, here's one thing. I feel like when I hear about men being sexually assaulted or something, usually the man doesn't find out about it until somebody points it out
Yes,
to
that's
him.
such a good
Do
point.
you ever realize? I always
Yeah.
feel like I see that where he's like, yeah, when I was 13, you were 13, the babysitter. And they're like, that was a crime. And then the guy's like, oh, God.
Yeah,
And
or
then he has
like,
to think about it that way.
or the guy who's like, yeah, when I was 15, my dad brought me to a strip club. Like, yo, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
In the moment, as a 15-year-old, you probably think that's the coolest shit ever, but you don't know any better, and you don't realize that you're basically being like molested. If a woman at a strip club does something to you and you're fucking 15 years old, or if your dad brings a girl to the house or something like that, like. But again, as men, you grow up and you're like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like,
and maybe it was a lot. And then there is the potential for you to reflect on a situation, and it can change, like time travel in your mind, how you feel about the past in that way. But sometimes that can be necessary for you to have a time period. in which, you know, like you reflect on how you experienced something so intense from your past, like somebody coming onto you and you weren't ready for
Yep.
it. But you're like, I'm a guy, this is going to make me cool. And you're like, well, this is a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ignore the other part of your brain that is like, I'm not ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
I love that song.
Hey, if you guys like this video, make sure you check out these videos where we talk more about music, dating, and real life situations. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Make sure you check out these videos and make sure you subscribe. Peace.